Hello again everyone. This time we are back again to introduce another project that we did about 2 years ago. We are given a unique opportunity to help create the Gamuda Cove Arboretum Wetland Center. It's a destination designed to inspire, educate, and immerse visitors in the wonders of nature and sustainable living. Let's go. This project consists of two areas, the pavilion and the experience gallery. Now we're going to talk about the pavilion first. When you're at the pavilion, you'll be greeted by a reception counter with a bamboo wall, a big signage, and a pantry. Let's talk about the pantry first. If you notice in the images, we have what we call a rammed earth counter with different layers of soil forming the base for the counter. How do you do that? Now, rammed earth is one of the ancient building methods that ancient people used a long time ago to build walls for their houses. So we incorporated this method to build the counter walls and the pantry walls. This is envisioned by the designer. And because this is our first time doing it, we did a lot of R&D, we did a lot of samples for the designer's approval. And in order to do this, to make it workable, normally they'll make a very thick layer of rammed earth. But due to the designer's request to make it thinner, we do a lot of R&D, and in the end, we managed to do it. And this is how it looks. We are quite satisfied with the outcome, and we hope to do it better in the future. Next is the wall. If you notice the bamboo wall behind the counter. As you know, natural bamboos, right? It's not straight. Even though you put it in line, it will not be straight due to the different sizes and the verticality of the bamboos. So what do? How do you install a signage onto this uneven wall? Easiest way out is you make a big back panel, install all the signages onto the panel, and stick it to the bamboo wall, which is not what we wanted, and also which is not what the designer wants. So what we did is we used spacers and painstakingly installed all the elements of the signage one by one onto the wall. In the end, we got it right. From the pavilion, we move on to the experience gallery. Now, the designer, they envision a curving wall. Not only it curves from the left to the right, but it also curves up and down at the bottom. In the 3D rendering, it looks simple, but we have to ask, how do we build it? In this situation, what we did is the top curving wall, we used the normal plywood to do it. But for the bottom part, initially we are using wood to cover it also, but it proves to be not practical and make our lives difficult. So what we did is for the bottom part, we used a foam to sculpt out the shape. And we use resin, fiber resin, right, to harden it and then mix it together to form what the designer designed and envisioned. Above this wall, there's a bamboo chandelier. When we first look at it, look at the design from the designer, we were like, whoa, how the heck are we going to do this? Because we've done it before in Utopia using carpentry work, which is very easy. Because we are dealing with normal plywood, whereby you can just cut to any shape you want and just fix it. But this time around, bamboo is totally different because bamboo comes in different sizes and shapes. And also have to remember, it's a natural material, so it's not a very straightforward material. So in order to do this, with the guidance of the designer, you can say collaboration and guidance, we cut the bamboo into different lengths and then we install it onto a very big frame, a chandelier frame if you make. And we stick all the bamboos onto the frame and we just put up the lights and that's it. That's the chandelier. But it's a very painstaking job for this. We even built two of these. One is in the front and one is at the back. So this is how it looks like in the end, the final piece. So from this corner wall, you go to the back, you'll be greeted by one big solid pine wheel. Actually, there's not only one wheel, but there's two wheels, which you can spin it simultaneously. Meaning you can turn both around if you want. But normally for wheels, right, people will just only do one wheel, which is very straightforward. But this time around, it's two wheels. So how do you do it? So we try to research into bearings, lazy Susans. We studied the mechanism, and in the end, we found something which is the bearing type of mechanism that can fit our build for this wheel. Now, the next part of this experience gallery is the tree trunk layer part. Envisioned by the landscape architect, they requested us to build a tree trunk with the different layers of the tree to showcase, to show the visitors of how the tree layers are. So how do you do that? Of course, we're not going to get the actual trunk and do it and carve it off. No, it won't last. So what we did is we sculpted the whole thing using an internal metal frame with wire mesh and cement to sculpt it, and in the end use paint to paint the whole thing up. The next part is quite, how do I say this? At first we look at it, it's quite easy for us. It's the terrarium. Why I say easy is because we did that before for Utopia. But for this project, when we got to do it the second time, the problem is that we can't find the supplier anymore. What? It's our business. So what do? We scramble around the net everywhere to look for new suppliers. Every terrarium that we find, right, is like all very like miniature sizes, which is not the size that we wanted. But we are very lucky. After doing a lot of sourcing and researching, right, we finally stumbled across an article in the Star newspaper which showcased a young lad turning his hobby into a business. So I can see there's a lot of different sizes of terrarium. Once I saw that, right, I straight away logged into his Facebook page, contact him, and we got the terrariums. So as a builder, we will, I can say, never say no, or we try not to say no to designers, because what they design is what they envision the design to be. As a builder, we need to help them to realize their design, and this is how we do it. We try our best to source what's available in the market and to fit their design. The reason why I'm saying that is because on the next segment, whereby the original design is a test tube using a glass, like an actual test tube, but it is a bigger version, which proves to be quite hard to obtain it, because we did search around the net, around the web. All the test tube, the biggest that we got is only this tiny, very small tubes, which doesn't fit their design vision at all. So instead of using their proposals, right, we counter-propose, we collaborate. We discuss with them, why not we did something a bit different? Why not we did a cut section of the test tube? If we do that, we can make it at any size that they needed. So in the end, they agree with us, and this is the final effect you can see. Now, the next thing that for us is also a first time is the Paludarium. Now, what is a Paludarium? Paludarium is a recreation of a habitat for animals inside maybe a building or somewhere, but it's a recreation. So what we did here is we did a Paludarium of a water life. Means that all the water lives that exist on site. So what you can see here is a mock-up of a heat swarm environment, and with actual fish swimming around freely. We are lucky to have worked with one of the specialists for this Paludarium. They did a lot of Paludariums, and we also learned a lot from them. But the most challenging part for this Paludarium is the container itself, which is a curving glass, as you can see here, which is very, I can say, it needs to be custom made, and boy, it's a very hard to do, but we managed to pull it off. Next to the Paludarium are two ant nests, which with the help of University Malaysia, UM, we managed to recreate two ant nests for the ants. So this is how it looks like. This is quite challenging for us because we never deal with ant nests before. We look up on the internet of how ant nest works or how the ant really lives in their nest. So in the end, we recreated something that might simulate their nest, and this is the outcome of what we have built. Now, in this area, right, this experience gallery, the main thing here is the mound at the center. It's the centerpiece of the whole area, whereby the visitors can climb up the mound and climbing up. And they are surrounded by actual trees and hybrid trees. And what we try to create here is to have the visitors, right, immerse into a living forest. So this is how we do it. And in the mound itself, we created two openings with some microscopic animal sculptures in it. Opposite the mound is a segment we call Windows to Wilderness. For this section, right, it proves to be quite challenging in the sense that we have to get sculptures of actual animals that lives in this site itself. Initial idea is that from the designer is that we have glass boxes all around the wall, and we put in all the animals with their habitats inside the glass box. This is what we think is maybe quite a straightforward way to display animals, which is quite normal where a lot of people is doing it. So what we did is that we counter-propose to the designer Why not? We do it this way. We do away with all the glass blocks. Instead, we recreate the whole habitat on this wall and allocate all the animals around this habitat. In the end, the designer agrees with us. Then we have to get to work. And for this segment, right, there are two categories of animals. The first being large animals, second being the small animals. For the large animals, we use the traditional hand sculpt method. As you can see on these videos and images, from the frame of the sculpture to the mass of the sculpture and to the finishing whereby you have feathers, you have hairs on the animal. That is for the large animals, whereby we have eagles, we have bats, we have lizards, we have tortoise, we have frogs. These are the first category, but the second category, which are the small animals, which prove to be a bit difficult because they are small and it needs to be detailed. So how do you do this? We incorporate technology into this. Why do we say technology? We use 3D modeling to model the whole animal, and then we 3D printed it, then only we paint it. That's how we do it. So technology proves to be very useful for these sculptures. From the windows of goodness, I'll bring your attention to a display, a floral display of leaves, whereby on this display, right, you have a very thick resin which has all the different types of leaves, which you can find on site. All these leaves are dried up, and we encase all these leaves into the resin, and this is how it looks like. We even add in some interactive lights, whereby you can switch with the turn of the switch. You can see, the lit up resins for you to have a better detail of the specimens. Next to this display are some tree trunks, whereby you have some puzzle games, which are for the kids or adults. But I feel that the kids might love it more. So on the tree trunk itself, there's a segment whereby the kids can turn to mix and match the three panels, separate panels, which forms an image of an animal. It's like a puzzle game. From the tree trunks, we created a panel which dedicates to a pit swamp usefulness for this site. Actually, there's two tanks which with the turn of the wheel, you release the water into the tank, right? And what we try to simulate here is that there's two tanks. One is with pit swamp and one without. And you can see the pros and cons of having pit swamp or not having the pit swamp. That's the easy part. But the hard part is that how do we create the spinning mechanism? We did a lot of R&D on that. The first 3 tries is a failure because whenever we turn it too hard, it will break. But finally, we do some research into gears and pistons. Then in the end, we managed to solve it. And this is how it looks like. From the water play, we move on to the leaf puzzle. The original idea from the designer is that the children, the visitors, right, can lift up a leaf pattern panel, slot into the matching hole, and that's it, call it a day. But we suggested to the designers, right, why don't we take it one step further, make it more interesting. And also due to security reasons, we recreated a puzzle game with all the leaf panel on the panel itself, which is you won't have to worry whether the kids might steal, might take home the panels or not. So it's very secure. And for this to work right, the visitors will move the panel into the matching opening. Once they did that, on the wall itself, you can see there's a lot of leaves with lights. Once the panel is slot into the matching panel, the lights will lit up. So it shows that the visitors is successfully matching the puzzles. Next is the blind test, whereby the visitors get a chance to feel with their hands instead of looking at the eye from their eyes of how they say this, to guess what type of skin does this belongs to. It's a bit of challenge here because we need to find something that really simulates the animals that represents, the material that represents the animal. Of course, there's no animals harm in this case. Can be sure about that. So this is the final part of the whole experience gallery. For this experience gallery, it really takes us to another level, being that this time around we are not the designers, but we are the builders. And as a builder, we have the responsibility to make the designer's vision come to life. But at the same time, we also provided some technical advice and also some technical designs, because sometimes when it looks good on paper, but sometimes you can't really build it due to the technicalities we have here in Malaysia, due to material availability, and due to machinery and equipments. So this, as a builder, we will always try our best to realize all the designer's visions, but at the same time, we'll help them to make it much more practical, safer, and durable for visitors to use. Thank you.
The Gamuda Cove Arboretum Wetlands Center stands as a testament to creativity, craftsmanship, and seamless collaboration. We are proud to have played a part in bringing this inspiring vision, creating a space that's not just beautiful, but truly unforgettable.